Clear some of this stuff out of here.
Hello, my friends. It's Nick and CJ. We are back once again, Monday night show, and there is a lot to discuss. But we always love having these discussions. What's up, CJ? How you doing?
What's up, man? I'm doing fairly well. All this holiday stuff. Traffic is crazy, and I'm not even shopping. Like I can't even go to the store and stuff. But anyway, I'm here and ready to jump on these topics, sir.
So the big story that's been going on: the Biden administration is in disarray. Their agenda, the the Democratic Party is ran by utterly incompetent people that rely on nepotism. And I love that people are. I love that this is becoming clear to people. And Caesar, do you think you can mute your mic? I don't know if that's me or you. I'll get a little bit of feedback. Yeah. That's cool. Thanks, brother. Thanks, bro. So, it's funny. It's Joe Biden ended up being the one who was a seller's candidate. Like he was the one who got people to realize the Democratic Party is incompetent. A lot of people are like, I'm straight up done with the Democratic Party now. We see, like people always talk a good game. We see, but once the campaign ads run in, once the scary, spooky ads come on, people usually get their derangement. But a lot of people are a lot of people were really upset, especially in particular with Joe Manchin. We see we see the vote blue, no matter who ideology falling apart in real time. Like this is the failure of vote
I
blue,
love to see
right?
it, though. I love to see it. I love to see it, real time.
So and it's funny. The progressives, we try to want. Well, I should say the leftists, not the because they believe in vote blue no matter who.
Yeah,
Too.
that's true.
But the true leftists, we was warning the Democratic class, the liberal class, why vote blue no matter who is a horrible ideology. How are you going to get a progressive agenda done when you have conservative Democrats that essentially align with Republicans? Like you got Mitch McConnell and Republicans now that straight up saying, "Yo, we would love to have Joe Manchin Republican." I'm like, "You already did." So the theme, you guys know, if you guys want to watch my streams, I like to have a theme. So the theme of this one is do not fall for the rotating villain. Do not fall for it. And when I have these things with these streams, I usually get back to it a few times. You guys gonna see throughout the course of this show why you should not fall for the rotating villain. And I'm glad that this is becoming something that a lot of people are starting to point out now because I used to see people fall for this all the time, especially during the Claire McCaskill era, the Heidi Heitkamp era. Like, people fell for this all the time, and people you see now like they already pushing out Joe Manchin. It's crazy. I got the receipt for you guys. I got to find it though. I don't got to save it. But there was a story, and I was going to report it on my Saturday show, but I'll leak it now. But this came out a few weeks ago, how there was a lot of conservative Democrats who secretly agreed with Joe Manchin and Chris Sinema. And the number they gave was around 8 to 10 of them. But you don't want to be the one going against your party agenda. And if your donors know that you don't have to take the bill, they will allow you to act like you're in opposition to that, right? As long as you're not the casting vote. So they need that person that can make that casting vote. So if it wasn't mentioned, I'm telling you, one of these donors would pick up one of the 8 to 10 senators, and they would have to lead the way because they're in the win-win situation, right? CJ, any thoughts?
Yeah, I just think that. I mean, like we said before we got started, like we saw this coming. I mean, what do you? Joe Biden, I mean, you said it this way, or I'm sorry, Joe Manchin, you said it this way, like he's basically a Republican. I say this to my wife all the time, Nick. Joe Manchin, I really feel if you believe in the blue and red game, which, we don't necessarily do, Joe Manchin is a Republican plant. He is a Republican planted in the Democratic Party to do what he did today. If you believe in that red and blue game, that's what I always have said about Joe Manchin. So I don't think that behind the scenes they may be acting like they're surprised, but Joe Manchin knew this. And I'm sorry, Joe Biden knew this. I keep getting the Joes mixed up. But Joe Biden knew this was coming. Pelosi knew this was coming. I mean, Mitch McConnell knew this was coming. And the thing is, I forget which story I was reading, Nick, or video I was watching. I heard, I'm going to pass it back to you after this. I heard that he only gave the president like a 20 minutes heads up before he went on air to say, hey, you know, I'm voting against it. And I heard that I read that when he was trying to, the president tried to call him like within that 20-minute time span, and he wouldn't take the call. So I'm just saying.
I think now that this was just theater to cut taxes for the rich.
Absolutely.
Subsidies, like the entire thing. like you guys know me, like I come up with these theories and I'll back it up over time. My theory, I said this a few weeks ago, I said as of now, as soon as it leaked that they passed the tax cut and that Biden effectively cut taxes for the rich, that I was like, okay, so that was always the plan.
Yes.
Like everything else, like we got
a diversion. Yeah, distraction.
$4 trillion infrastructure bill. We willed it down to this. Oh, we got this. Oh, we're gonna negotiate the child tax credit. We're doing this. Let's cut tax for the rich and let's do it. Like all that was just for that. I think all of it was a distraction. But once again, I will have to back that theory up over time. I understand that. But
I think it's proven in what happened today, though, Nick, because we had two bills. One, because you have to understand what Joe Manchin said. He's not saying I don't support this version. He is saying I can't let this bill move forward. That means it's done. Like it doesn't mean like, oh, we're gonna go back and try to fix it. It's done. So I mean, I just don't understand like what. I'll pass it back to you.
I see what you're saying. So what?
Yeah,
there's so many important takes to have from this, right? And that's what our job is to analyze what's going on and then tell you guys what the political landscape is. And as it is right now, Democrats are headed for a bloodbath in 2022, as we all knew what was going to happen. A lot of people are starting to realize the show game. Well, once again, I always want to preface saying that by saying that people always talk a good game like the year before the primaries, the midterms, and the general election. So people are starting like, fuck Joe Biden. I got a story that back you guys up. He had an historic low right now, Joe Biden. But do you guys remember? And once again, liberals, their own ideology is buying them nads. Vote blue no matter who was a failure because I still remember they supported Joe Manchin over the progressive primary challenger they had. Sorry if you guys remember the name of the challenger, let me know. I'm blanking.
Of who's challenger? I can look it up.
I still remember because I was that's back when I was heavy.
Oh, you're talking about Manchin's challenger? Yeah, I looked that up.
It was like in 2018, 16. Can you guys help us out? What's the name of that? I forgot the progressive who challenged them, but it was one of the things where the entire establishment. Yeah, Paula Swearengin.
Okay.
I knew she ran. I didn't know she ran against Manchin. I didn't know she went up against him. That's interesting. So it was Paula Swearengin, and then the entire establishment, including Elizabeth Warren, like came out for Manchin. Like that's around the time when Elizabeth Warren went on TYT, and she like I'll give a standing. What exactly did she say? She said I'll give an endorsement of Joe Manchin, and she's saying like you have to be a conservative Democrat to win these areas because we will get the votes that way. How is that working for you? Like this is their ideology. Their ideology was you can't have someone like Paul Swearengin. I remember because I followed that race at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, they were like, you can't have someone like Paul Swearengin run in West Virginia because we'll lose that seat. And we lose that seat, we lose a vote. Like, bro, where's the vote? You guys see what I'm talking about? Like, it's all about protecting their career grip. And they was protecting Joe Manchin for a long time. And
but for what? But because I think they're only concerned with what just happened this last term, Nick, and that is if it gets down to 50-50, at least Joe Manchin puts us over the top. And if we have the president, you get what I mean? It's for this very reason why maybe they put up with Joe Biden. I mean, put up with Joe Manchin. I keep mixing the two up.
Do you guys want to know why you shouldn't fall for the rotating villain? Right, like. So Joe Manchin is the number one thorn on Biden administration side, right? And I got more on Manchin, but I want to share this first because the conversation led this way. I shared this on a stream on Saturday, but this was Rome shared, and I saw this was flowing around. This is them fundraising for Joe Manchin re-election campaign. This is their email. Any chance of taking back the Senate rests on ensuring vulnerable Democrats like Joe Manchin win re-election. Republicans know this, which is why they're throwing the kitchen sink at him right now. That's why that's why your support for Joe is so important. I hope we can count on you. Like they fundraise for Manchin. They fundraise for this guy.
Right. So it's not like he's operating independently. You get what I mean? That's the whole point that I think I want to make, is that the rotate, or that you're making, to your point, the rotating villain is just all to draw the energy to one person when the energy should be going to the whole party. But before we move on, Nick, let's shout out Sabrina is in the house. How you doing, Sabrina?
She just had a great show. I was watching it earlier. Check that out.
Thank you for the super chat. Paula Jean said, "Vote blue no matter who." Didn't apply to her. It never applies to progressives. Go ahead, Nick.
Remember when like the Social Democrats took over Nevada and then the entire establishment quit? That was when they let the Republicans win. They said, I don't give a fuck. Right. We're class loyal here. We're class loyal. And people, will you guys realize that? Like throughout the course of this show, I hope you guys will reach that conclusion. But I remember Biden, and I'm once again, liberals are being shooken by their own ideology. Because I still remember during the campaign, CJ, do you remember they were saying Joe Biden? We had to support Joe Biden, even though Bernie Sanders, he got good ideas. His ideas are good. But we got to support Joe Biden because I actually seen some like Elizabeth Warren fans make this argument. They're like, by the fact that since Joe Biden can get more stuff done because he can reach out to moderates and Republicans, he actually more progressive than Bernie. Since he's more progressive than Bernie, because Bernie wouldn't be able to get anything done because he would be gridlock in the Senate. He won't be able to get his own party to vote with him. The Republicans will gridlock him. What's happening right now? Biden was supposed to be the guy. This is why you do not let Biden off the hook. Biden, the corporate media, the entire establishment told you that Biden was the guy that can get conservative Democrats and moderate Republicans, the mythical, non-existent moderate Republican. That's what they told us. How has that worked so far?
So it hasn't worked. But is the question though, do they know it's not going to work the whole time and they're just trying to convince people? Or are they failing? Basically, are they 20-time losers, 100-time losers, Nick? Are the Democratic Party just losers?
No,
or are this by design?
We know this. We know this. We talk about this many times. Their role is to lose. That's why even
that's their role.
And this is actually I'm glad you asked that because this is a perfect transition to what I'm about to share next. Their role is to lose, and when they have that accident, like whenever you had a Republican neocon, warmongering piece of shit like Trump or George W. Bush, they will fuck up so bad. Like the country will elect a black man with the name Barack Hussein Obama. Like that's how bad they will.
That's how bad you are.
Donald Trump fucked up so bad. We elected Kamala Harris as vice president. Guys, do you guys understand how like Kamala Harris' name was on the ballot for vice president, and people was like, I go with her over Trump. That's how bad Trump fucked up. This is the pattern. So these Republican neocons are so bad they'll fuck up, and then the Democrats like accidentally get their way into a majority, and then like, oh shit,
they don't know what to do with it.
We got to represent our donors, but at the same time, we got to sound like we represent our base. Am I making this up? No, check this out, CJ. This is perfect transition. Because don't fall for the rotating villain. They had to come up with this plan. They was like, roll call. We need someone to block our agenda right now. And Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema said, me. I want the corporate lobbyist position. I want to be on MSNBC, etc., etc. I reported on this on my show a long time ago. Look at the date on this. This is January. So this is right when Biden won. Politico. Democrats flat-footed by total control of Washington. Wow. This is right after the election. So remember at the time, people was like, yo, Trump might win this election. And even if Trump doesn't win, it doesn't look good for the Democrats in the Senate.
Right.
Like, Americans have short-ass memory, bro. I don't. I remember all this shit. I remember they were saying there's going to be a gridlock in our government because the chances of the Democrats taking the Senate is low, even though Trump wins. And then Trump was so awful on handling COVID. He ran a right-wing cultural war campaign that was unlike anything that he did in 2016. And I once again, I covered this on my show extensively. You had a lot of leftists that was saying, "Oh, I think Trump's gonna be Biden again." I was like, "Whoa! I can show you guys the receipts on my tweets." I was like, "Yo, guys, I don't think Biden and them is a mastermind, but Trump is running an awful campaign.
Awful campaign. Like he just had to do a little bit to win."
Right, he was watching ONN, whatever, like the right wing network,
QAnon,
Max, like the
yeah.
fringe right wing networks, and then he ran a campaign based on culture war right wing shit. That doesn't work. You beat Hillary Clinton because you point out the Hillary Clinton campaign corruption. Because he said he lied all the time. He said, I'm gonna give people health care, I'm gonna give people good wages. He didn't do none of those things. But that was how he won. But he ran such an awful campaign. I called it literally months before the election. I'm like, bro, Biden's awful, but I think he's gonna win. I said it. I literally said it. And so I knew that Trump was gonna lose. A lot of people looking at the poll and they're like, all right, this is not like 2016. It's not gonna be one of them crazy wins, right? But even with that said, people had questions about the Senate. But Trump was so bad, I had to emphasize that the Senate was a toss-up. And then remember the Georgia Senate race.
Mm-hmm. And they came out and lied about the $2,000 checks.
Yeah. So a lot of people don't remember the actual events and how they happened. Because Americans, their memory maybe a few weeks at best. That's been very kind of. Do a lot of people know the succession of events I just laid out? So the reason why the Georgia Senate races became important because they wasn't planning on investing a lot of resources in that race. Because like Georgia, like that's red. But then it was like, bro, we win those 2 seats. We got the Senate. So then that's when they went balls to the walls, the most expensive Senate campaigns of all time. That's why they did it and they won. And I want to show you guys something I said a long time ago. I didn't have this saved, but you guys know I like to brag because I've been warning people about this kind of shit, right? Because once again, there are a lot of people who are like neo-progressives or shit-libs or sympathetic to the Democratic Party. They really hate my guts because I remember they was campaigning hard in Georgia, and I was like, for John Ossoff, who say they don't support Medicare for all, these people support John Police budgets. I'm like, and they were saying stuff like, if we win the Georgia Senate race, we're gonna get checks. We're gonna have a progressive agenda. And I remember people got so mad. I found it. I was looking while I was talking, but I remember people got so mad at me when I said this. I was doing stuff like this all the time. I was like, wait, you guys really think the Georgia Senate election was going to decide whether you get $2,000 checks or not? And I was saying at the time, like, bro, if you guys think that this Senate race that you guys are getting invested in is actually going to mean anything, you guys are delusional. Now, what happened? They won the Georgia Senate race. What happened? This is what I said. Once again, this is before the Senate races. And this is one time when they already declined the 2K checks. I'm saying, like, if you think the Georgia Senate races are important, you out of your goddamn mind. Like, the idea that you're going to have positive progressive reform through the Senate, through the Democratic Party, progressives are saying this. And I'm like, I'm going crazy. Watching this shit, CJ. Watching this whole thing going down. And I was like, bro, I'm not covering. If you watch, I'm not covering this race. I don't give a fuck about this race. And I was saying that over people like, oh, you got to go out and support. Also, I had people that I like, people that I support. It was like, there are people I knew in Georgia that was in my web, whatever, right? They was like, yeah, I don't really fuck with Joe Biden. I didn't vote for Joe Biden, but this race is important. Like, bro, I'm in dialogue. Like, I
think I heard Supreme Court mentioned a couple of times too. Oh, for the Supreme Court. It was like,
so let's get back to this article. I want to show you guys. I'm bringing this up for a reason. So if you guys think the rotating villain isn't real, they had to make an adjustment because they wanted that gridlock. They wanted Biden to win, and they wanted the Republicans to either maintain the Senate or be like maybe one Republican, and then they will say, "Oh, we can't do anything,
right?
Right?" But then they fucked up and won the Senate. So what do you do? So let's dive into the article just a little bit. I covered this a long time ago on my show. So they talking about I always like to skim these because you guys don't want to hear me read all of it. So that's when they talking about this is when John Ossoff and Warnock they won, and that was everything, right? Now they go through this whole thing where they're pretty much saying that throughout the course, I'm not gonna read the article, but throughout the course of this article, they're saying like they wasn't expecting this. Like Democrats not even on the same page. Like there wasn't no preparations for them actually to take over the Senate. They had no clarity. They had no clarity on stuff like immigration. Just skimming through the article here, they had no plan for when they were going to take over the Senate because they ran a campaign where they was like, "Are we going to give you guys a $15 minimum wage? We're going to cancel student loan debt. We're going to do all this stuff." And I was saying that time, like, if you believe Biden right now, you are a fucking moron. Because we didn't get gridlocked and we're like, oh, we can't do it, man. What can you say? What can you say?
But now I remember you used to post things, everybody, but I remember you in particular used to post things like that, and people will reply, go to his website, look at all this stuff.
People thought I was being edgy, bro. Like I remember people saying, like, yo, only reason SocialistMMA, only reason niggas saying this stuff because he's trying to get followers, like he's trying to be edgy. I'm like, bro, no, I'm telling you guys the truth. I'm telling you guys that if you trust a politician, when he is running for the highest office in mankind, you are a dum-dum. Like, you are the dum-dum left. The people who told us that Biden was the climate president, they're the dum-dum left. The people, and this is another important point, the people who spend all the time on this Build Back Better bullshit, they're the dum-dum left. Now, let's have a serious conversation, because people always ask me these questions like, oh, Nick, you always say we shouldn't invest that much into electoral politics, right? What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? Let's think about this process that happened over the course of this year. So, do you guys understand how many thousands of man hours that was committed towards writing and crafting the Build Back Better plan? Do you guys understand how many hours and resources that was planned marketing this? Like, imagine the millions of dollars alone that was spent marketing this bill that we all knew from day one wasn't going to pass. We all knew that Joe Manchin was not going to get on board. Meanwhile, Bernie Sanders and the progressives, they're holding rallies about the Build Back Better program, the Build Back Better bill. They spend all this time and resources. Like, I want there to be a study. Imagine over the course of last month, how much money was spent on marketing? How much money was spent on labor for aides, writing the bills, people who work for progressives, advertising this, Ilhan Omar, Pramila Jayapal. These people spend a lot of their time marketing this. I subscribe to Bernie Sanders on his YouTube. I subscribe to all these people, right? I see them hosting town halls every week. Build Back Better, Build Back Better. Bro, so my point is, this is millions of dollars going through the electoral system. So if you donate to these politicians now, millions of dollars going to advertise for Build Back Better, that died. At the end of the day, that died. And we all knew it was going to die. I said, and CJ, we said this on the panel before, we didn't cover this shit because we like, why would I cover some shit I know not going to pass? I got other shit to talk about. So we spent the progressive movement. I don't want to say we no more, right? So the progressive movement spent millions. The Democratic Party base. Now we take the whole group as a whole in terms of media operatives, ads, rallies. All that was spent on fucking nothing. Now, what I'm saying is, imagine that money. Now you guys see where I'm coming with this? Imagine if that same money, that millions of dollars that was spent on some bullshit we knew wasn't going to pass, went to mutual aid, went to food banks, went to preparing people for this homelessness crisis, which I have a story for you guys. You know, a lot of people forgot about this shit. The eviction moratorium, we didn't get to, that's a preview. Stay watching, because we're gonna cover that soon. That didn't go away. Eviction's on the rise. Imagine we had a big, fat fund just buying people hotels right now. But we spend on Build Back Better. And people thought I was being unreal. Remember, I criticized Bernie because I was like, why are you spending your fucking time advertising Biden's fucking agenda? He dropped Medicare for all. He doing Build Back Better rallies. Right. Child tax credit rallies instead of Medicare for all rallies. Instead of defund the police rallies. Instead of abolish ICE rallies. Bro, guys, I am not being an asshole. These hours and these movements matter. When we say you shouldn't waste your resources on electoral politics, I don't give a fuck who you vote for. Like, a lot of people get this confused. I don't give a fuck. At the end of the day, what, that maybe an hour of your day? You vote some person you think is the best. I'm talking about donating your time, investing into, like, if you donate to Justice Democrats, they're spending their money marketing these fucking shit bills, and we covered multiple times. Many other lefty channels did as well. This bill was, at the end of the day, was shit. Was shit. It didn't do nothing for climate. It was pretty much a big government giveaway to corporations. So it's like, this is how we spend our movement money. This is how we spend our time. And people think I'm unreasonable when I'm calling you guys out. Like, you guys want us to follow these leaders, these clowns. Once again, imagine the resources that could have been spent. Like, imagine the time that was spent by the progressives on Build Back Better, which we already knew wasn't going to pass. Look at the old round table. I swear to God, formerly known as FHL. We said we didn't cover the Build Back Better plan because we like, bro, this shit not gonna pass. With the votes. And then people pretend that wasn't the case. I got another story where progressives like, maybe I'll pull it real quick because it's actually relevant. Here, y'all pull it up. Let's see. Damn. But the progressives, here it is.
Go ahead.
Because it's very relevant to what I literally just about to say. Look at this headline and look at the clownery of this, guys. The absolute and the people who are not on the left, they don't even see it. Honestly. These websites suck, guys. Fuck. But this is the headline right here. Let's see if I can zoom in. I don't know how much you guys can see, but you see betrayal. Progressive hammer Manchin on inexplicable reversal. What? What? Do you guys know what this means? This means at one point, the progressive was like, yo, Joe Manchin said he would support this, man. He gave us his word, man. If we just will this bill down, if we keep willing it down, he supported. Dude, at no point Joe Manchin was ever serious about passing this bill.
At no point.
And CJ, I'll pass it right to you. But it's correct that he supported like a $4 trillion infrastructure package at first, right? And now that's less than half what it is now. So
I remember Premier Jayapal. I always say her name wrong. I apologize. I remember Rep Jayapal when they were holding up the bill in the House, and they were like, yeah. And then she came out and said, oh, we trust when they folded. Oh, we trust Joe Biden. Remember they said that? We trust Joe Biden, and look what happened. But Nick,
that's a good preview. We didn't talk about that here later, but go ahead.
Yes, I don't want to go too deep into that one, but I do want to kind of examine, like, in the interview I saw. If you watch the Fox video, we won't put it up because we get copyright. Joe Manchin basically in the announcement where he said he's not going to vote for it. Joe Manchin basically, tries to give this like, I labored and thought about it. It was so hard to make this decision. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, right. So let's go to the reason why he voted no. But before we do that, let's shout out this super chat. Thank you. Hope this helped y'all. Y'all are awesome. Thank you for the super chats. Also, in the scrolling bar on the bottom, if you are wanting to support us, we do ask support us directly for various capitalist reasons, like YouTube taking a big cut. So if you are able to support us on the individual items that's scrolling on the bottom, super chats are also fine, and thank you very, very much for that. All right, so let's get to the article I want to share here, Nick. So this will be really quick here. I just want to read a couple of sentences in the article. And the article here is from Sludge, of course. I love Sludge. And they basically giving the real reason why Joe Biden, I'm sorry, I keep making that mistake. Why Joe Manchin voted against, hang on a second, I'm going to take this super chat off. There we go. Why Joe Manchin voted against this. So let's go here. So again, Sludge, this is the article here. Manchin's latest donor gift. Somehow his vote is related to a donor, right, Nick? And which they always say, what do Democrats say? Republicans take money and are corrupt. We take it and it doesn't affect our vote. That's what Democrats.
Nancy Pelosi said. That's the free market.
Exactly. That's the free market. That doesn't affect our vote. So let's see here. So here's the subheadline here. The senator is opposing a Build Back Better Act provision that prohibit offshore oil drilling as his top donor prepares to drastically increase its oil exporting business through a new offshore terminal for super tankers. You believe that, Nick? I don't know if you had a chance to read this article, but let me read just a little bit here. The Washington Post today reported that Senator Joe Manchin latest target to cut from the House Democratic Build Back Better Act language that would prohibit future oil drilling in the eastern Gulf of Mexico and off the Pacific and Atlantic coast. Man, this is the part here, Nick, that was very eye-opening to me here. Manchin's latest. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, CJ. I want you to finish this article. I was looking for this video as well. I didn't have this prepared, but I found it. But there's a good video, and it's actually crazy. This is one of the biggest shit libs on Twitter. And don't get me wrong, they're coming at it from a shit lib point of view. Mm-hmm. When I watched the ad, I was shocked. It was a great ad. I'm gonna show you guys it. Like this Democrat operative made his ad against Joe Biden highlighting his corruption. And don't get it twisted. He supports. He's
a Democratic operative.
Yeah. So you guys see when a lot of people probably know this guy Don Winslow. A lot of and Democrats are sharing it. It's an anti-Joe Manchin ad, but it's actually good. Like it's actually surprisingly good. But we go through it after we go through. I saw it earlier. I was like, damn, and it pretty much sums up everything you're saying here, but it's in video form. So
absolutely. So this is all tied together, everybody that's watching here. So, but let me read this last part here. So Manchin's largest donor this year is Enterprise Product Partners, the Houston-based oil and gas pipeline company, where his own son-in-law, wow, just the entangled like nepotism, incestual relationships they have. His son-in-law, Marshall Roberts, is employed as a asset optimization manager. Isn't that something? His optimization. What is he optimizing? His bloodline, his son-in-law, his father-in-law?
Yeah,
that's a unique name. That's a very unique title. Go ahead.
Yeah, Joe Manchin is a perfect example of what I'm saying, guys. Like, do not treat this two-party system as legitimate. It's not legitimate. This is a career grift.
Right.
It's literally just nepotism.
Right.
Like we went through it with St. Louis. That's what Corey Bush got rid of William Lansky Clay, and he got his Congress seat 20 years ago from his dad. Right. And I'm gonna share you guys something when CJ get done with the presentation. Joe Manchin and his family is a result of public nepotism. His family was in public service, so he got in public service.
That's how
you guys. We are
Nancy Pelosi too.
Yeah, Nancy Pelosi's daughter. There's rumors that she's gonna run for her seat when Nancy Pelosi retires.
Good Lord.
Like, and we're gonna cover that story. I can find it. That was one of the stories I read in passing. But yeah, she's gonna take over Nancy Pelosi. Like, you guys think we're this advanced society? We're not. We traded kings for these billionaire capitalist oligarchs, for millionaire politicians. Like they're the new royalty. But go ahead, CJ.
Yeah, no, but I'm finishing up here. But the whole point to this is that there's not some sort of like some sort of core belief he has. We have this particular donor. This is his top donor, this oil and gas pipeline company, who has this. They're trying to increase their profits by expanding. And this let me just read this last part. So it is one of the largest crude oil exporters in the country, and it is in the process of drastically scaling up its oil exporting operation. So I'll leave it there. So this guy is selling all of us out, even though, let's say, the big Build Back Better plan has a crumbs of crumbs. So that's what it has. He's selling us out for these top donors who wants to scale up. Now, if we're talking about the climate crisis, why would anybody be scaling up? Why would an oil company be scaling up their production?
Right.
Nick, I'll pass that back to you. I'm going to take that off.
So yeah, Manchin is deeply. I'm actually going to transition to this video because this video actually really good. Follow to that article. Because once again, I actually was impressed. If you watch if you see the liberal Trump ads, they're awful. Like, I used to watch them out of pure entertainment, but they will always go for the biggest, the most low hanging fruit, corny ass shit. Stormy Daniels, oh my God! Or they will say some shit that they blatantly do as well. Trump enriched himself through his family through politics. Biden did the same thing. Hillary Clinton did the same thing. So even when they did hit on something, like, your party is guilty of that too. And it was just awful ads, like, to the point where I was watching, I was just like, oh my God, this is so bad.
It's almost like a parody.
Yeah, it's shit lived. Like the Lincoln Project ads, that was horrible. But this one, Joe Manchin actually pissed the libs off because this is the kind of ad that they will release against the left, right? Because you know how they when they fight against the right, they're like a tiny house cat, right? But when they fight the left, they're like a roaring jaguar. Like they had different levels of intensity when they fight the left versus the right. But this is like the kind of ad they will drop on the left. But all right, I'm gonna mute my.
All right. You muted your mic. Go whenever you're ready.
I'm here because of West Virginia.
For me, it's all about West Virginia.
Welcome to television's unchallenged authority on wealth, prestige, and success. It's another dazzling lifestyles of the rich and famous. Meet the stars of show business and big business. Discover how life's...
I'm actually pissed because that's actually not the one I had in mind.
But that was funny.
I can find it though. Give me a second. I can find it though.
But I mean, look how rich he is. He's sitting on the yacht or boat, whatever it was.
Let me fuck.
Ridiculous.
I thought I had saved. That's my bad. That's not the one because that I can tell by the beginning of the ad. I think that ad was pretty shit. I can tell that.
It looked funny though. It looked funny.
Like, this one seems bad. Damn. I'm gonna see if I can find it though. Because it's actually a good ad to highlight. Is this it? Yeah, here it is. Thank God. I knew it was him. He posted one good ad, but then he posted a shitty ad. Like it looked like that one was pretty shit, right? All right, so anyway.
Okay, let's see this one.
What was your salary last year?
About $18 million.
It pays to be a member of Joe Manchin's family.
Follow the money.
Joe Manchin has represented West Virginia for 40 years. Delegate, state senator, secretary of state, governor, U.S. senator. 40 years, and West Virginia is still the second poorest state in the country. Economy. West Virginia ranks 48 out of 50 states.
Thank you, Joe Manchin.
Healthcare. 47 out of 50 states.
Thank you, Joe Manchin.
Education, 45 out of 50 states.
Thank you, Joe Manchin.
Infrastructure, wait for it, 50 out of 50 states. Manchin has an estimated net worth of $8 million,
Follow the money.
while the average annual income of West Virginia is just $26,000. Manchin receives a taxpayer-paid salary as a U.S. Senator of $184,500. So he didn't get his $8 million there.
Nice yacht, Joe.
So where does all the money come from? Manchin receives $491,000 annually from his son's coal brokerage company, EnerSystems. His wife, Gail Manchin, receives $613,000 from EnerSystems. That's $1.1 million to Manchin and his wife from his family's energy company. Manchin makes 5 times more from his family's energy company than he does as a U.S. Senator. Joe Manchin has blocked President Biden's infrastructure plan from moving forward because he wants to kill legislation to replace coal-fired plants with clean energy. Manchin is selling out his own country to protect big coal and big oil who own him.
Joe Manchin, I talk to his office every week. He is the kingmaker, and he's not shy about sort of staking his claim early.
The chairman of the committee that regulates coal shouldn't be a part owner of a coal company.
This is Heather Manchin, Joe Manchin's daughter. After lying about having an MBA, she was named CEO of Mylan Industries. She artificially jacked up the price of EpiPens by 461% and was awarded with a 671% salary increase. West Virginia is poor, poorly educated, and broken, but Joe Manchin and his entire family have become multimillionaires.
West Virginia, abused and suckered for 40 years by Joe Manchin.
That was done by a liberal?
Bro, I told you guys that ad was a banger, bro. Like that, and those
that was great.
But dude, that guy's a shit lib. But he pissed off the buying bro, right? Because now he's the rotating villain. Like they can throw that one guy under the bus,
right?
But one important thing I want you guys to know: everything that they outlined in that video, they knew before.
Right.
Like, this is not new shit. You how you guys think they so easily had this output research on Manchin? Everyone knew this shit. Like you would even see like progressive outlets like shitlib neo-progressive outlets like TYT or whatever. They'll report on Manchin corruption. Like this wasn't hidden. So then you have like people like Elizabeth Warren, you have people like Kamala Harris. That's why I showed you guys that they supported his re-election. They're fundraising for him. And they already knew this. So why are they coming out with this now? Because he's the rotating villain. There's someone, and this is why, even though the ad is amazing, it's surprisingly like it's a great ad.
Yeah,
like it's going after the deep-rooted nepotism corruption. You never see them talk about that. But the reason why, even though it's a good ad, Don Winslow will support the Biden family, who did the same exact thing. I got the receipts. I pulled it up for you guys. Biden family enriched themselves through politics when Biden became a senator and when he became a vice president. I'll show you guys the ad. I reported on this a long time ago. Hillary Clinton. Once again, I can go countless examples. The Pelosi's over and over again. These people who did the same thing that Joe mentioned. And that's why it's easy for them to make those ads, because it's pretty much them telling on themselves. They're like, I know I do it, so let's get Joe Manchin. Let's just air his shit out. But don't get it twisted. Even though you can make that same exact ad about Nancy Pelosi. Same exact ad.
Same exact ad.
DJ, you got anything you want to add?
Just insert, yeah, same exact ad. You can just insert another, or insert her name and face. This comment here: the liberals have no problem calling out Manchin and Sinema because, in a way, they're framing this as if those two are the only corrupt people in the party, and that is the point of the rotating villain: is to take the hatred you would have for an entire party and make it just and narrow it just to two people you're gonna hate, and within the same party. So you have liberals like this person you just pointed out here who hate Manchin too. The whole point of the rotating villain, Nick, in my opinion, is for the people who support the Democratic Party, not for people who don't support them. Because in order for people to keep supporting the Democratic Party, they have to feel like the Democrats are trying to do it, but these two conservative Democrats. This were also the whole play-in conservative, corporate, they're all the same. They're all the same, right? This is where that whole terminology to break them up. Oh, Joe Manchin is a conservative. No, they're all the same, and they're working together, and they got you to believe that there is a conservative Democrat when they're working as one team. And whether you're saying the one umbrella team that includes red and blue, or you're saying just the blue team or just the red team.
This is once again another perfect transition to the next part of the story, because once again the theme of this stream, remember, do not fall for the rotating villain. And I spot ops coming a mile away. Like I immediately, and CJ is good at doing this as well. This is why we got the show together. Like I see immediately when that email chain comes out. Like, you know, when cause the Democratic Party and the Republican Party as well. Like, they have giant email groups. This was exposed by WikiLeaks. We all know this even beforehand. How are you going to coordinate a message, right? With otherwise. So they had giant email chains with Democratic Party operatives. And to me, it is very easy to see what their next message is going to be. Because you start seeing people start rolling out messages. You can tell they get memos. They're like, all right, this is the talking point. The Manchin one was immediately and quick. And we see the progressives. And now this is our next segment, because there's a lot to break down here. Why? And the question I want to ask you guys leading to this next segment is, why are progressives getting legitimacy to this? Are they part of this email chain? I think it's obvious they are. Or do they get the memo list from Neera Tanden? I think they do. So look at this. Check this one out. And look how ridiculous this is. Our favorite progressive to shit on is at it again. Jamal Bowman. I feel
Lord.
I feel like it's my responsibility in a way. Because I remember I was like, a lot of people tell I was excited when Bowman won. I was like, I hated Elliot Engel. He was another puppet motherfucker, one of the most corrupt people in Congress. So I'm like, yo, we get a black dude that at least sounds decent. That's great. Jamal Bowman has been a trash can.
From the jump, Nick. Like right when he got in there, to me, he started saying just weird stuff.
I'm not exaggerating. Like, people have been pointing it out. If you look at his voting record and you look at who Elliot Engel would have voted for, there haven't been a big shift. People are like, bro, his votes on foreign policy is exactly the same shit Elliot Engel would do. Anyway, I get beside my point. You guys know how I feel about Bowman. But this is the latest shit lift shit he's doing. And you see he's following the playbook. This is what he said. Build Back Better is Biden's core campaign promise. We did everything in our power to protect it and keep his, they talking about Biden, his word. Biden is trustworthy. Manchin is absolutely not.
That is propaganda. Word line by line, Nick. That is nothing else you can say about that. That is propaganda. That is absolutely ridiculous. Like, he's coming out to shield. So what he's doing and other people are doing, they're coming out saying, let me take this energy you're trying to give to the Democrats and focus it right here to these two people or this one particular person. And that's what he's doing. Like, he's propagandizing the supporters. This is what I'm saying. The rotating villain, the whole concept is for their own supporters. So he's talking to them to say, Joe Biden is trustworthy. It's not him, supporters. It's these two over here, the conservative Democrats. I'm so surprised that he's so good at this. He flipped like this quick.
Bro, I had never seen someone so enthusiastic to sell out like Jamal Bowman.
Yes,
he was, and I knew I should have trusted my gut, CJ, because I remember when Barack Obama endorsed Jamal Bowman, and he was so excited about it.
Oh my
God! And that was one of the things I was like, "Am I being too much of a leftist here? Am I being too much of an asshole?" I was like, there is no point.
I don't remember that. I don't remember that happening.
Maybe I can dig it up. Because I was one of the assholes that people get mad at me because I gotta talk shit on people like, right? So Jamal Bowman was like, "Oh my God, I was endorsed by Barack Obama. This is amazing." And I'm like, red flags. There's no way anybody on the left should be excited about endorsement from Barack Obama.
Absolutely not.
But the fact that he bragged about it showed me that he wanted to be part of the club. Like, that was clear. He wanted to be part of the club. So that should have been a red flag. But I was like, man, maybe I'm being an ass on this. But this is what Finney said.
Remember what he said about Jim Clyburn? I think it was Jim Clyburn. He said some great glowing things about Clyburn, about Elijah, the person who passed.
Yeah, there was so many red flags after he got elected.
Wow.
Now, Finney said, I just saw her tweet on here. I'll read the tweet for our sister, Finney. Congress Bowman, exactly how has Biden shown his trustworthiness when he gone back on every campaign promise, all while stabbing the left in the back? Bowman knows this.
Right, he knows that.
He knows this, man.
Yeah.
He's dumb.
That's what I'm saying. He already this quickly has already flipped it this good, and it's already being part of the team that trying to whitewash Biden, trying to whitewash the Democrats. Like, that's his job now. So
as someone who used to believe that progressives were good faith actors, and I was like, oh shit, Jamal Bowman may be a good congressperson, I didn't change my opinion that I think he's smart. Like, one of the things I used to say, I was like, yo, man, I think Jamal Bowman really smart, right? So he's not a dumbass, bro. You really think that Jamal Bowman don't understand the concept of a rotating villain? I heard this motherfucker speak on the campaign trail. He was anti-establishment as hell. You really think he don't know these basic concepts? Everything that he's saying he's doing, he's making a conscious choice to play defense for the Democrat Party. Everything that Pramila Jayapal has done, is a conscious choice for her to play defense for Democrats. This is friend of the show, Zinkus. You did not do everything in your power. You gave up your power when you decoupled the bills.
Right.
What's him? Friend of the show, Zinkus, killing it. The second the progressive decided to decouple the two bills, they lost. They conceded. Right. Even, bro, I still remember TYT, even Jake Huger was like, the people who defend the progressive.
Right, they said they caved. I remember that too.
Even they couldn't, like, even for their, like, they don't, their credibility always dropped, but in order to protect a little bit what they have, even they was like, damn, you guys fucked up. Even I saw it, even they were saying it. So you guys did not do it. Like, so there's so much lying on top of lying.
And remember what they were saying at the time when they passed that bill, the infrastructure. Remember what they were saying? The progressives, you guys are going to tank the Joe Biden presidency if you don't pass this. Now, what happened? Like, the bill's not passing. Is this bill going to tank? Is Joe Manchin torpedoing this bill? Is that going to take the Joe Biden presidency? Let's see if they say that, because they surely said that about the progressives.
I still remember when people was like, because they win a victory for the squad so bad. So bad. I remember when the squad first was like, we're not going to decouple the bill. We're going to hold firm here. And I still remember, like, Jordan Sheridan, like, all these people was like, see, you guys never get the squad credit. You guys never get progressive credit. And then they folded, and then crickets. Like, they were talking all this shit. And like, the progressives, they were marketing themselves. They was like, yeah, we're going to stand firm. We're going to stand at Joe Manchin. We're going to tank this motherfucker. Then they didn't. Then they were like, we're going to, remember the article I just shared. We're going to take Manchin word that he's going to, if we decouple the bill.
I remember.
This motherfucker, and then they never apologized for being this blatantly wrong. They was like, "Yo, why you guys not giving the squad credit for standing up? Why you guys not giving Brady credit for standing up?" I still remember this stuff, man. Like,
because it wasn't over. That's why we didn't. Why would you, like, it wasn't over? You shouldn't be taking a victory lap before it's over.
So let's break down.
Oh man, we got it.
Let's break down the leftist critique that I have of what the progressives are doing by doing this rotating villain shit to not only defend Joe Biden, but to market for him. Because they're saying, yo, Biden was honest. He did everything in his power. So not only are you apologizing for him, you trying to make him come out ahead. Like, you guys trying to do positive work for him. And once again, I don't even agree with your guys' core strategy anymore. But I remember my mindset when I had a strategy of taking over the Democrat Party. So even if I had your mindset, what you guys are doing makes no sense. Like, once again, I don't agree with the strategy, but let's work under the assumption that we are working to take over the Democrat Party here. I just want to highlight how ridiculous this shit is. How does it benefit us for you to do propaganda and make Joe Biden out to be an honest person? So right now, and I'm going to get into the numbers here very soon, we have Joe Biden and Kamala Harris right after abandoning all progressive campaign promises that are massively supported by the American people. He is now historically unpopular. I'm going to show you guys a poll real quick. I'm going to show you guys that here very soon. Mm-hmm. Kamala Harris, in modern American history, she was the most unpopular 6 months in. The most unpopular vice president in modern American history. People are leaving the Democratic Party in droves. For the first time ever, 50% of registered voters are registered as independent. That was shown by Morning Consult earlier this year. Neoliberalism is on its deathbed. Because, as I said a year ago, Biden was actually the settlers candidate. I remember back when I used to say, like, I would never vote for Joe Biden. They were like, oh, you pushing acceleration theory. The theory that you let things get so bad that people become radicalized and they stop supporting incrementalism. That's the idea of acceleration theory. This is what, like, Vosh attacked me for. Like, many people attacked me for. They're like, oh, Nick is an acceleration theory advocate. And I'm like, I thought about it for a second. I'm like, no, you motherfuckers are advocating for acceleration theory by advocating for Joe Biden. Because once Biden get in and things get worse, fucking you gonna get another Trump term. You got another 2 years, two terms of Trump. The country becomes even more radicalized. And that is exactly what's happening now. Like, people now, like, I'm done. With,
like you see people who supported. I mean, it's in the polling numbers that you're going to bring up. You see people who supported Joe Biden because for his polling to be this low, Nick, I think in the 30s or something like that.
Yeah, I'm
that means that Democrats have turned on them, not just Republicans. Like, Democrats are now saying, like, nah, we're kind of good on them. Go ahead.
So let's think about the strategy. Once again, I am operating under their assumption that we can take over the Democratic Party. The Biden administration is historically unpopular. The Kamala Harris is historically unpopular. We knew the Build Back Better plan would fail. Why would you tie your boat? Like, once again, strategically speaking, how does it make sense to tie your boat to them? How does it make sense for, like, all right, I'm the Biden supporter. This is your chance to make the argument for leftist politics. They should be going for Biden's neck every fucking day. Every day. Like, right now, they are going after Manchin. No, you guys should be going after, and AOC, she came out with like a weak tweet where she's like, oh, Biden should be doing this, should be doing that. You guys should be doing this from day one at their administration. Since Biden is historically unpopular, you guys should be riding the wave of this unpopularity, plant the flag that you are anti-Biden, and then primary the fuck out of anyone who supports Biden. They are doing the exact opposite. They're doing the exact opposite. They're playing their flag, and they're like, we're Biden Democrats. We can push the party left, even though Biden fucked them. He completely fucked them on the agenda. So once again, I am a radical. I am considered a radical because I don't believe in the strategy. But even if I did, when I was in, like, once again, the TYT people, they all used to follow me back when I was on the campaign because I used to try to give you guys good advice. Like, I used to be like, yo, you guys go after Biden more. Like, I was telling people stuff they should do, and no one ever listened to us, right? So once again, this is me telling you guys what you guys should do again. Even though I disagree with you guys, right? With Biden and the Democratic Party massively unpopular, now is the time to attack. With so many people mobilizing against mandates, like Richard Wolff said, this is the time the left to make the argument that anti-mandate is a pro-worker position. This is what Richard Wolff was arguing. There's a large amount of workers who are anti-establishment, and you guys are conceding this issue to Republicans. You guys are conceding all this shit because you guys want to defend Biden. You guys want to be on the Biden team. You guys should be raising the anti-establishment Biden army, for example, right? But instead, you guys are falling in line, defending him, and now you guys look worse. And if you look at it, like, one thing that a lot of people didn't talk about, everyone was laughing at Kamala Harris, right, for her unpopularity numbers. I may cover this on my next Saturday show. But AOC is deeply underwater.
I didn't know that.
No one talk about it. I plan a segment. I didn't get a chance to do it. But maybe I can find it. Maybe I can find it live, right? But they were looking at our numbers. They're like, let's compare the numbers. And Kamala then was bad. And then they show AOC. They show Pelosi. AOC is like Pelosi level, guys. Why do you guys think this is? No matter how much the AOC stands, kick and scream at me because they hate me. Like, if people love AOC, they can't stand my guts because I called them out for their stupid ass bullshit. But why do you think AOC is underwater? Because the average worker, they don't see her as a representative for them. Because she constantly engaged in culture war, stupid ass bullshit. She constantly always take the side. She's like, all right, I'm gonna be the partisan here. I'm gonna take the side of a Biden here. I'm gonna take the side of the Democrats here. That is not what people want. People want a hard-hitting left-wing populist. Someone who will hit hard on the kitchen table issues that will call out the corruption on their side. But the progressives are not doing that. This is the overall strategy I want you guys to take away. They are running the left off a cliff, guys. I am not being an asshole by criticizing them. I am seeing this. They are taking otherwise anti-establishment thought and leading it off a cliff in no direction. There's no strategy. They're like chickens with their head cut off.
But what they're doing, Nick, knowingly or unknowingly doing, like what Jamal Bowman did in his tweet, they're doing damage even to the left movement or the perception of progressivism. Like if you're labeled progressive and you're championing a conservative or a conservative thought or conservative bill, you're now making a conservative bill now appear leftist, appear progressive, appear lib. You get what I'm saying? So they're doing more damage in the tweet. AOC is doing more damage. Rep Jayapal is doing more damage when she says, Joe Biden receives an A. I forget what she said, an A or whatever she said. He's doing a great job. All of these things, when they are doing that, talking about the Build Back Better plan, it does all of these things. And, when they do these things, just like when you're talking about the Overton, they're helping to move that. They're helping to give the Democratic Party liberal progressive viability, liberal progressive validation. So it's better if they just didn't say that. Like, just imagine if he didn't tweet that. Just don't tweet that. Like, you could, be on the team, but if you just don't tweet that, you know how many progressives who follow you, you love you, who would not have seen that, who would not have kind of changed what they thought, because now they follow you, they love you. So if you, the progressive, is saying this, they're going to say, well, maybe Joe Biden and the Democrats aren't as bad as I thought. You get the point, Nick? It's a slippery slope.
Yeah, it makes sense. And once again, when you tie yourself, it doesn't make any sense, man. Because I used to be on more of the electoral politics side, so I can still analyze it that way. Like, when I see how they move, it doesn't make sense, even when you endorse Sam Cedars' strategy. Why would you tie yourself to a sinking ship? So when you tie yourself to Build Back Better and Joe Biden, instead of aggressively attacking it from the left, now people see you as part of the snake oil salesman. Mm-hmm. Like, the progressives was one of the people that was telling people in Georgia that they were going to get a $2,000 check. All the progressives said it. And now people wonder why LC and their numbers are in the toilet. Because even though it's fair or not, once again, you guys can get mad at me all you want, but this is the perception of the people. The people see them as Democratic operatives. We can get mad at me.
They're not Nicks. They're not a bunch of Nicks, everybody.
People get mad at me for saying shit that is objectively true. The reason, like, Bernie Sanders is the most popular senator in the country. Now, his approval rating is still through the roof because I still got a lot of criticism of Bernie, but Bernie was still at least, he was like, all right, I'm going to go on Fox News, right? I'm gonna talk to working class people. Meanwhile, AOC threw a meltdown because Bernie talked to Joe Rogan on the campaign trail. You guys see the different strategies that AOC and even Bernie will advocate for. Like, Bernie is actually, I got criticism of Bernie, but he actually was like, all right, I'm gonna focus on working class issues. I don't want to get too much in divisive politics, which is actually a decent electoral strategy, right? But LC went the exact opposite way. She was like, all right, I'm gonna engage super hard into neolib identity politics, not the true leftist identity politics, what I advocate for on the show, advocate for your community to come to and make connections with each other. She was all about representation, neoliberal, shit-lib identity politics, to the point where they was advocating for near 10. They were like, this would be a historic victory, near 10 and a brown woman. Like, this kind of shit that Justice Democrats was doing.
Right, but I mean, identity politics, a perfect example. I like anytime. I know this is kind of the side point, but I want to bring this up. So I always point out Clarence Thomas. Like, that's a perfect example of what is and what's not identity politics. He's black. Does he in any way represent anything black whatsoever? No. In his ruling, in his thinking, and in anything I've read about him or anything he said, no. So that's fake representation, because this is what I always say. If identity politics, if multiculturalism doesn't come with, if diversity of skin color doesn't also come with diversity of thought, diversity of education, it doesn't make a difference. Like, you know what I mean? If you can have an Asian, a black person, a Latin person all grow up and all go to the best schools and private schools and Yale, that's not any diversity of thought. That's not a diversity of educational background, of economic background. They're all rich. They all went to Ivy League schools. They all brought up this way. They all went to Oxford. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's not real diversity.
Apparently AOC did too. Maybe I should talk about this story. But AOC did too, man. Maybe I'll pull it up later, man. But
what do you mean? What did she do? What did she do when you say she did it too?
I saw this thread, and I still remember Jackie was telling me the same thing a long time ago. And I had my friend Dee, she's played this with me a long time ago. I didn't even know this stuff, like the whole Boston U AOC CIA shit. Sound crazy. I'm gonna show you guys this. Let me pull this up here, right? But actually, this is a good little mini segment. Someone sent me this. Someone blessed on Twitter because they watched the live stream. Much appreciated. So I was looking for this as well. I have a hard time finding the article. I wish I could find the article. The article actually compares like the numbers of all the most popular people. So you saw like how AOC like compares to Pelosi. It's like, yikes. So let's see if we can, like I said, I didn't check this out before. So let's break down this graph here. So this is AOC. And this is, thank you for this tweet, my man. They watched and they saw need this receipt. AOC poll numbers are underwater. How are your poll numbers this bad when you support the most popular policies? This is like, once again, no matter how you feel, there are a lot of people who are yes Queen AOC who hate me for saying this shit. This had nothing to do with how I feel about AOC. Objectively speaking, she's a bad politician.
Can you read those numbers off so those that can't see those small numbers?
Sorry guys, I wish I had my original source, but this shows 16% very favorable, 16% somewhat favorable, so that's 32%, 42%, that's 58%. So yeah, she's deeply underwater here. I'm doing math on top of my head. So the amount of people who disapprove of her is 58%. 58% disapproval rate, right?
And that's, you're just combining the strongly versus the moderately disapprove sort of thing. You're just combining it.
Yeah, so that's 32, 42 minus 58. That's minus 16. Yeah. So she's minus 16, guys. Bernie Sanders, once again, I got criticism of Bernie Sanders, but he played the game well. He been the most positive senator.
Do you think she's seen these numbers? Do you think AOC has seen these numbers?
Yeah, maybe she don't care.
I mean, these numbers are clearly because she has flipped the switch severely in the last, since Joe Biden has been elected. She has completely flipped the switch.
So people get mad at me when we say that she's not good. Yeah. Like there was a study that showed that AOC is one of the least effective Congress people. I covered that. AOC fans got mad, but once again, this is just we need strong leftists.
You know what they're gonna say to you? They're gonna say, "Well, she raised money for this, and she went down there for this." That's not her job. It's great that she did that. Like, she's a great activist. Go raise money, do all of that. That has nothing to do with her job as a legislator. And this is my analogy, Nick. This is what I always say to people: is that, say I got a firefighter. I hired this firefighter. He goes down and raises money at the local Girl Scouts. Am I supposed to judge him as a firefighter off of him raising money down the street at the local Girl Scouts? Now, that's good. They needed the money. Go do that. That's great for the community. It has nothing to do with his job as a firefighter. Nothing. So tell me, AOC as a legislator is terrible. AOC as a politician is terrible. AOC as an activist, she could be great. She can raise money just off her name. Go do that. That's fine. but she's a terrible politician. The people who support her, Nick, people who support her don't want her doing things like supporting Joe Biden, like coming out and saying these things about Joe Biden.
They don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck. So remember this. I'm gonna pour on this, but also gonna get into the juicy thread. Because remember, once again, if you guys think we've been over dramatic when we say they're just bad politicians, what happened to the eviction moratorium? Remember that stunt they did? Well, then they were just bad at advancing left ideas. Like that's objection. That's not even, that shouldn't be controversial. Like they said they're gonna put Biden left. How did they do that? Remember when they did that stunt and they're like, oh, we saved the homelessness crisis. Evictions on the rise months after the federal moratorium ends. We did segments on this show months before the eviction moratorium expired, and many leftists did as well. We was like, bro, the Supreme Court said you guys got to have a congressional solution. Right. We said this weeks before, and they're like, we're gonna keep tweeting about stuff. Oh shit, the eviction moratorium, camp out at night. They got temporarily fucking paused, and we were like, all right, what about the Supreme Court? This shit not we got criticized because people were like, why can't you guys just take a win? Why you guys gotta be a Debbie Downer? Remember that thing? You guys are you gotta win. Where is it?
Yeah, I remember those. I remember those comments and those replies, man. It's some hilarious times. Evictions are on the rise, but the thing is, they know about the court decision that said that whatever the eviction moratorium was illegal. They know about that. What happened to them? They're not out. Nick, the Supreme, all they have to do is, Democrats are in the majority. All they have to do is write up a bill so that these people are not evicted, and they're not doing it. They're not even talking about it. The media is not even asking them the question like, hey, you know that thing that was struck down by the courts? Why aren't you guys working on any legislation about that? What's going on with that? Mum's the word. But I'll go on YouTube and go to CNN to see what are they reporting. It's a bunch of Trump stuff. Nothing about the eviction moratorium. Go through all their videos. You tell me how far back you got to go to find anything about an eviction moratorium.
Hey, I subscribe to some of these people on TYT just to see what they talk about. I literally seen like David Doe, like they releasing a video praising the squad. It was like the squad slammed Joe Manchin. You see, like they play along with the kayfabe part. They're like, the squad slammed Joe Manchin. I showed you that story on how the squad took Joe Manchin's word for it. Right. Like they were sucker, but their narrative is that the squad is doing great. The squad is doing great.
But their whole when you mentioned David, people like that, and he's not anything bad. David Dole I used to watch all the time, and he used to give great critiques on Joe Biden during the campaign. As soon as he got the nom, it went away. I must say that Mike over at the Humanist Report, he does do some videos. He still does kind of critique.
He hates me.
Yeah, I know he does. I know.
But it's whatever, man.
I critique him when if you critique him on stuff that you disagree with, and you don't when you do. I mean, there's stuff that you two overlap on and stuff you don't. That's completely fine. And I want to be able to have discourse, Nick. I want to be able to disagree with people
I don't hate
and be cool and still be cool. And case study QB on the general strike with us in particular, he was really pushing that like, hey man, you guys have a lot of overlapping ideas, tone down the rhetoric. So I'm trying. It's hard though, Nick. It's hard. It's hard.
He used to follow me, but he blocked me immediately because I called out his friend because they was platforming someone who used to be a Nazi, right?
Who are you talking about?
That's a long story, man.
You're not talking about Case. You're not talking about Case. I just
no, not Case.
Yeah, people to know that it's not Case.
That's why he eventually blocked me. But that's a long story. Yeah. It's whatever. Like I'm not here to I'm here to advocate for my community. But I don't even hate none of these people because
no, me either.
When I see the amount of disdain that a lot of these people, like the progressive squad lovers, have towards me, I'm like, you guys hate me more than you hate Joe Biden. Like, how does this make sense? No, I talk to all these people and I laugh at them. Better than they do. I'm not even close to hating none of these people I lay out to you guys. Yeah. Like when I talk about TYT, I criticize them, but I'm far from hating these people. Like I hate Joe Biden. I hate the people who do damage to my community. I think these people kind of clowns. I think they do some damage to the movement, but at the end of the day, maybe I disagree with me. I don't hate them. I hate the people in power. You know what I mean?
Right. They don't really have power, so I get that. And I still like if any of them do a video that's a good take, I'll watch it. I don't have.
You guys
I don't have
like talking shit, and
we just like talking shit. That's
that makes like you got CJ. Man, I know where you grew up, bro. But where I grew up, we just talk shit, bro. Like it would be funny.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And people get super mad at me.
Talk shit to your own brother and then go home. Like
even when I like Bernie. Even when I like Bernie, I used to talk shit about Bernie. I was like, man, I used to campaign. I still talk shit about. I still talk shit about him. But let me tell you guys this. I'm really about to make you guys mad now. I'm gonna give you guys some receipts of what I was talking about earlier regarding AOC and CIA. There's a great thread I saw that I missed. It was like a few weeks ago, actually. But my friend Dee, I remember I used to say stuff like, I used to criticize AOC, but she was like, yo, AOC is way more nefarious than you give her credit for because she used to work for the CIA. I was like, whoa, I didn't know anything about this shit. So it was like one of the things like, I don't know if I want to dive into this. I don't know that much about this shit. But apparently, the whole bartending thing was a joke. Now, let's go to this thread and let's see what you guys think about this. Because I saw this thread today, and I was actually like, whoa. So Diddy was right. And this is one of the things like you would hear. I heard like a lot of people on my left, she would say, they would say stuff like AOC CIA. And I'm not gonna make any conclusions. Let's just go through this thread here real quick. Because this is receipt, right? This is once again, you gotta make your own conclusions.
Great.
You gotta make your own conclusions, right? So check this out. So this guy, I don't really know his background, but it's a friendly PSA. AOC is not the Latinx bartender from the Bronx with no political experience, but actually an establishment aunt with a spooky past who was put where she is to subvert the American growing leftist movement. Whoa, that's a bold claim. So his claim is AOC was planted to subvert the giant left-wing movement that they saw come out in 2016. The movement that eventually splintered because there was a large disagreement. There were more people significantly to some people left, some people more like Elizabeth Warren Democrats. You had some people like toasted Democrats. You had some people who like fuck all the Democrats. That was like more where I was at, right? So we all went our separate ways, right? So that's a bold claim, bro. People, I can already tell. Like people, AOC fans are boiling. But look, this tweet did numbers, bro. It was when you saw the receipts he put up.
But think about the strategy. I'm not saying I agree, but think about the strategy, right? They see this growing left movement being dissatisfied with the Democratic Party, which they can't have. The Democratic Party are the ones that get elected, and they're the ones that do the damage that the Republican Party always talks about. You can talk about that, the 1994 crime bill, all different types of things. So but think about what they're saying. The people were saying this sort of a conspiracy theory, if we're gonna label it that way. The Democratic Party, their voters, or at least the most left-wing voters, are being disaffected. They see that in the 2016 election or prior to that, maybe. So they go, hey, we need somebody that's going to be far left to bring back those people in the hopes that she can be that person. Because there's no other reason why are we talking about AOC. What has she done? She hasn't done any accomplishments for the media to be this on her, right? It's because she was that face to bring that growing dissatisfied movement back. So if you believe this conspiracy theory, I mean, that kind of makes sense to me.
Conspiracy theories are already like a lot of times they are proven true at the end of the day. Like I remember back in the day when I grew up, like there were black conspiracy theorists who would say stuff like that. I heard this all the time. And CJ, you probably heard the same. You're from LA. I used to hear all the time. They're like, yo, the CIA used to sell crack in the ghetto, and that used to be like a conspiracy. Like people were like, oh, that's a conspiracy theory. Like remember, like if you're black,
right? You heard that years before people that came out.
You heard that years ago, right? Yeah. And the people that said that at the time, they were called conspiracy theorists, right? But now it came out that they did sell crack in the hood to sell the Contras, right? Right. And their campaigns in the global South. Like that's actually a real thing. Like once again, so is this conspiracy theory? I think you guys will change your mind when you go through this thread. And I'm willing to be open-minded. If anything in this thread is proven wrong, I will come out here and I will say, this is where this guy got it wrong. Because I waited, because I heard this stuff before. I waited to report on this. But this thread, it gets better, CJ. We literally just scratched the surface. We literally just scratched.
Let's see. Now you got me curious.
So this is the first. Let me zoom back in. That's just the first tweet outlining the premise. Now let's dive into some receipts. This is what my friend was actually telling me about, but I don't know that much about like universities and that kind of stuff. But AOC went to Boston U, which cost $55,000 a year, and she graduated cum laude with a double major in international relations and economics, a path that many CIA folks have taken before her. Like many CIA people go to Boston U. Boston U, especially their international department, is a CIA recruiting hotbed, right? And then they had the receipts here. They're talking about how she went to Boston U, which is not a proletariat school by any stretch of the imagination. Now let's dive into some more receipts. I know some of you guys might have some questions, right? But Boston U, you had a lot of people in the CIA that used to straight up admit they recruit out of Boston U. Okay, so let's continue. As an undergrad, AOC studied abroad in Niger. Do you know that?
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that. I thought she was a bartender. I thought she just went to college and she couldn't find a job just like me. She studied abroad in Niger to volunteer with Women's Health, trying to get them to have less kids. The Bill Gates shit. The population control capitalist bullshit where they're like, we don't have enough resources, so stop having kids, right? So once again, if this shit is proven untrue, guys, let me know. But once again, this is another thing. She studied abroad in Niger. I didn't know that. Now we continue. This is where shit started getting really fucking. Her trip to Niger through the NIME International Development Program, which was funded by USAID. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Bro, I cover foreign policy. USAID is a known CIA front. They use USAID in order to justify overthrowing dictators or
right.
Leaders. They're like, oh, we try to provide aid, but they rejected the aid. But a lot of times the aid is a funnel that goes to resistance movements. That was shown in Venezuela. So Nicolas Maduro was like, yo, I'm not going to use USA because we know that they're shady. So they were like, oh, Nicolas Maduro is denying aid to our country, even though the aid has been shown to funnel weapons.
Right.
Like, it's a known CIA front. That's what they know. A lot of leftists know about this. So I didn't know that. So they went, after she left Niger on her campaign, that's when they started a coup to overthrow Niger's government. So let's dive into that. This is the coup. You know what our intelligence agency do. So this is the Niger program. This was AOC was part of. Boston
Why would she go there? Like,
bro, so many questions.
Who goes to study abroad in Niger? What?
And then there are people, and once again, this had nothing to do with the thread, but this is more anecdotal. There are people who say they know AOC, and they said her dream always was to be like a CIA agent, to be a politician. That's why she went to Boston U. She studied international. She started working for USAID, right? So this is the Boston U. This is the program that they said that AOC signed up for. We didn't know none of this stuff. Like, I didn't know none of this stuff when I was for AOC, right? Cuban Twitter and other times, USAID pretended to be an intelligence agency. Foreign governments had long accused the U.S. agency for international development of being front for CIA and other groups. And when a lot of these Sandinistas, when a lot of the leftists in the global South, when they do this, U.S. propaganda say, oh my God, look at this tyrant, look at this dictator. They're denying aid to their people. No, you guys are sanctioning the people. That's the reason why we are starving. Once again, this is long concepts I'm trying to explain really quickly here, right? Now, once again, stuff get crazier because we're still just getting started. After Boston U, I didn't know this once again. After Boston U, she started a very ambitious career that she never talks about. With the help of 2 Israeli tech entrepreneurs and venture capitalists, she founded a book publishing company while also working as a lead educational strategist at wherever this place is. You know, just bartender stuff. And this is the receipt. Bro, I did not know this. Look, this is the receipts. This is Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez, lead educational strategist. That was funny about Israelis, right? 2 Israeli startup entrepreneurs play a role in the rise of AOC. What? What? I thought she was a bartender. Bro, it gets crazier. You guys, it gets. Once again, I took my time to report on this stuff, man. I want to take my L if any of this shit is not true. I try to do my due diligence. But look, check this out. She actually lobbied for tax breaks for startups. So she had a startup and she supported these so once again, she advocated for herself. The same way AOC, one of the first things she did in Congress was advocate for a pay raise for Congress members. So let's continue. I think this one is getting better. This one I don't like as much, but you see this part that like she knew Chris and Gillibrand in 2012. I don't get this part that much credibility, whatever. But it just shows part that she's part of the club. That one I don't think that's strong. But this one I actually do have questions about. What are the chances that, and then when you think about this, that someone like LC get a Netflix deal when she run her campaign? Remember the Knock Down the House campaign documentary?
I don't know what that is. I never watched it.
When they decided to make a documentary about political outsider candidates in 2018 that followed AOC's grassroots campaign and unpredictable upset, right? I actually didn't see this part. AOC doesn't mind someone with life experience of being a CIA agent. This is where she said some goofy ass shit. Apparently, I actually didn't see this part, but I think she's saying it doesn't really matter their background. And this is, I reported this on my show. This is the part where she was giving money to CIA Democrats. This was a big story at the time. She was caught taking donations and giving to CIA Democrats like Connor Lamb, for example. This is like some of the more divisive stuff she did. Like, for example, like reason why she's deeply underwater. Like, she was one of the people that repeated the toxic Bernie bro shit. Mm-hmm. She got mad when Bernie Sanders went on Joe Rogan. I still remember that. Like, what? Like the most shit-lived shit. I think this tweet is funny because this shows how conservatives play their role too. Remember when conservatives try to do got you on this dancing video? It's weird how this is the only oppo that the conservatives release these dancing videos.
Like they can't find the other stuff that she's not a bartender. Like they can't find that.
I love this part. He said it's pretty weird how the only oppo they find on her and none of the spook shit that I'm posting because the AOC psyop is a gift to both sides.
Right.
They get their boogeyman. They raise hella money on AOC. So I'm showing all this stuff here before about her ties to.
Why is she this in the media? For what? Like, what has she done?
And she was pushed, man. So once again, I'll ask you guys. See, once again, I didn't even go through this whole thread. Like, this is a long thread.
So let's just ask for an non-scientific vote in the comments based on the thread. What do you think? You think she's CIA or you don't? Put it in the comments or go ahead, Nick.
You can't forget because her brother unknowingly recommended her to a casting call. I remember hearing about that. But this is when I really started questioning AOC. Like, you can if people who follow my work, you can see the timeline when I started like, wait, what? When she gave legitimacy to the coup attempt in Venezuela that Trump was doing. She followed Juan Guaido on Twitter. And when she was asked about the coup in Venezuela, she said she would defer to caucus leadership. Who is caucus leadership? Caucus leadership is Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer. So she defers to fucking neocons on this shit. Oh, this is more anecdotes. So she went to school to be a CIA agent. AOC majored in international relations at Boston U. Their international relations program was started by a CIA agent. I actually didn't know that. It was actually started by a CIA agent, Arthur Hilnick, as part of CIA's recruitment program per the CIA's own website. I actually didn't know that. But anyone do know, like, Boston U is closely related to the CIA, right? And I like this last part because conservatives, and I always like to say this part as well, and I think we can wrap this part of the story. I'm not on your side. I'm bringing this kind of stuff up because I think all the sides do it, and I love that he wraps his tweet up with this because there are a lot of like conservatives that will see this tweet like, yeah, fuck AOC. No, bro, your boy Trump. They all part of the team. I'm glad he ended the tweet like that. He like calm down, bro. Trump was an op too. He was friends with the Clintons. He got in office and did everything the establishment wanted him to do.
Bring that picture back up. I mean, just look at the body language. That's not a we've never hung out body language. There's a better one. That's not a we've never hang out body language.
Yeah, let me find out. There's another one that's actually way better. I used to post this all the time to let
to sort of illustrate the point, but it looks like most of the votes, Nick. I don't know if you saw it in the.
So I haven't seen the chat in a while.
Everybody's saying CIA. They're saying.
Also, anyone agreement. So I haven't seen the chat in a while because I was presenting the story. So I was like, man, I hope people don't think I'm fucking nuts. But dude, I literally did my due diligence. All this shit is crazy. All this stuff I just read to you, I did not know till recently. I did not know.
I just run some of that right now in this call or in this the stream here. Wow, yeah, everybody's saying CIA.
Like, are not blatant lies. Like, not like he said this shit and you looking up like, oh, this shit is true. Like, bro, we all know she went to Boston U. Like, this kind of shit, we all know this shit. I didn't know about I didn't know about the USA shit. I didn't know that. Like, as someone who followed foreign policy, that's a big red flag. That's a giant red flag. This is why I tweeted. I actually like this picture more. Look at the body language here. Because I always talk shit on Democrats, but I always have to let the Trump people know that, dude, it's a big club. Look at this, buddy. You guys know that Chelsea Clinton and Ivanka Trump are like besties? They're like good friends. They're still good friends, apparently. Yeah. Like, I remember I read a story a long time ago how they were like Ivanka and Chelsea not gonna let the campaign get between them. It's a giant club. Do not fall for the rotating villain.
You think they talked about healthcare that night of this picture? Think they talked about healthcare?
Fucking poor people, man. We stealing all their labor value. God damn, it's awesome. It's awesome being rich.
I wonder what the ruling class. I wonder what they talk about.
That's what they talk
about. Do they laugh at us? Are they laughing like?
Oh, I got stories.
Peasants? Go ahead.
He's saying shit that leads perfectly. It feels like the shit already got prepared. Look, so I'm gonna jump right into it because you literally said something. I literally had a story kind of prepared. Let me show you guys this. What do rich people talk about in their spare time? It's super funny you brought that up. This is what they do. This is friend of the show. You guys know Courtney. She tweeted this out. And I responded. I said, I wish the working class hated the rich as much as they hate us. You guys know I advocate for class war. So this is what Joe Manchin, this is what the rich people say behind the scenes. Hey, how smart that is. But it said Joe Manchin privately told colleagues that parents use child tax credit money on drugs. The West Virginia senator just killed Democrats' agenda. In private negotiation, he questioned whether the poorest Americans would spend financial aid wisely. Guys, do you guys understand the amount of disdain the capitalist class, the ruling class, and the rich have for poor and working class people? Let me explain this to you guys. Now, I was tweeting this out as well. Let's be 100%. Even if the poor family did use the money on drugs, that's not your fucking business.
That's their money. Yeah.
The rich people use drugs too. Fuck your hypocrisy. Like, that's straight. Like, this is what they really believe. Like, and my thing is, if I was to give money to a homeless person, I don't care if they use it on booze. Mm-hmm. I don't care. Apparently, that's their medicine. They need that to feel good. I think it's
the system. I think it's all of the propaganda. I think it's all part of the propaganda to demoralize poor people. Like, you can't possibly make a good decision because you're poor. That's the reason you're there. It's all about that to me. It's like, you're poor, so obviously you're here poor in poverty, so you can't make good decisions. So you're gonna spend it on drugs. It's all about making poor people appear this way, sort of like character assassination, so that people who would be sympathetic, okay, yeah, we do have to set in rules. We do have to have, things you have to do in order to qualify for this and that. Yeah, because, so otherwise these people will do this because they're poor. It's terrible, man.
The reason I'm bringing it up, because like, what do rich people talk about? That's what when they get together, they laugh at how easy we allow them to steal our labor value.
Yeah.
Like, I can only imagine, like, these motherfuckers, they still falling for us. we are massively wealthy.
Right.
We're making millions of dollars.
I bet they're laughing at 725. Like, it's 2025, 2021, and they're paying 725, like, laughing.
They see homeless people in the streets, and they think they're literally less than nothing. Like, you guys don't understand. Like, I remember I reported the story a long time ago, and it's gonna be very hard for me to find receipts. But there was a story that leaked, like, when you had like the billionaires that throw these parties. Like, there was this party. I'm trying to remember the story. I reported this a long time ago. But they had these parties where they dressed up, and the whole point of the party was mocking poor people. And they were dressing up as poor people. And the reason why I know I did, because the video leaked on Twitter, and they was like mocking poor people in their party. This is what they talk about. They see us as fucking useless worker ants that they can exploit. We are nothing but tools to them. That is how they view us. They hate us. They think we're cattle. I see what Jimmy was saying. And when you see Manchin say stuff like this, do not get into it. This is not just Joe Manchin. This is the disdain you see from the entire neoliberal regime, the entire capitalist class. Trump fans, do you really think that Trump like you guys? There have been reports and leaks that I 100% believe where Trump will like mock and laugh at his supporters at being dumb rednecks behind the scenes. Donald Trump was a New York East Coast elite.
He doesn't like Southerners. He doesn't like that Southern sort of way. He's not that type of person.
George W. Bush went to fucking Yale, and somehow he moved to Texas, created a Southern accent that he didn't used to have in college. He convinced these rednecks that he's on their side. Guys, they hate you. They think you're a trash. Why do you think, despite the fact that these workers work 60 plus hours a week for them, Kellogg is spending more money, and this was shown on Twitter. I don't have the receipt, but you guys, I saw this earlier today. Like they were spending hundreds of thousands of dollars rebranding their packages. They was taking the Kellogg logo off
the union logo.
No, they were taking if you buy like Rice Krispies, right? They would have the Kellogg logo on it.
Oh, okay.
They were spending a ton of money to take the logos off because they know people are boycotting their goods.
Just have the name of the cereal without the Kellogg on it.
And when people saw this, they was like, "All right, let's do some math. Do you guys know how much money it would cost for you to actually repackage your entire products?" They had to create a whole new packaging scheme. So people estimated, they were like, "Bro, this costs hundreds and hundreds, maybe millions of dollars for them to do this." That is the money the workers are asking for. People was like, "Bro, you spend the amount of money instead of spending money on taking your logo off. Why not just pay the fucking workers?" And this is the point I made before.
Because Nick
would rather spend the money in order to wage class war.
Like you just said it. You said what I was just about.
Yeah,
go ahead. You said it. Go ahead. You said it right there.
So I actually expanded on this topic before when I was talking about how conservatives, they're all for like socialism when it impacts them. Like you see conservatives, they'll say stuff like, "Oh, I didn't support." I know I used to talk to these people all the time when I went to South Carolina. They will say, "Oh, I didn't support universal health care, but then my aunt got breast cancer, and then we went into debt, and I realized like this is horrible, and now I support Medicare for all." You notice how they don't support shit until it impacts them?
Until it happens to them.
They do not support shit literally until it happens to them, right?
It's all about the conditioning of capitalism, the individualism. It all ties together. Go ahead.
So why did it take that? When there are studies that show Medicare for all will actually save more money compared to our private healthcare system that we have now. Because at the end of the day, and this is my theory, because this has been public knowledge for at least 5 to 6 years now, ever since Bernie ran the first time. Because there was a lot of misunderstanding. Like a lot of people thought that universal healthcare would cost a lot of money. I remember when I first heard they were saying, when I was like, "Whoa, I didn't know that." But now people know that. So if you know that and you still oppose Medicare for all, what is that? That is the rich. They're willing to pay money in order to have a 2-tiered healthcare system, actually a multi-tiered healthcare system. They'd rather pay more so they can say they got better healthcare than you.
Right.
It's really that deeply pathological. So my tweet when I responded to this, I was like, "Bro, I want the workers to have the hatred for the rich that they have for us. They hate us, guys." And I told you guys, I am not one of those political commentators that come out here like, "Yo, I'm gonna call it balls and strikes. I'm gonna call it out of this. I'm gonna be neutral." No, I do have a bias. I'm biased as fuck. I'm probably one of the most biased commentators you can find. I am unapologetically pro-proletariat. When you watch this show, every news item I am talking about, I will talk about it in a proletariat class war way. And I am not hiding from that. And people need to stop hiding from. People need to stop this neutrality politics shit. I am not neutral. I want to eat the rich. I want to expand the power of the worker.
Right.
That's why I did this. So
I want to get rid of the corporate state.
and the thing is, people feel like somehow people feel bad if they like, "Oh, I got this unapologetic bias. I'm making my life better." Like, oh, they feel bad for it. They feel guilt that people are like, "Oh, you're selfish." That is what the rich do. That is what lobbyists do. There was reports, and now I'm kind of like fucking ranting now. So there's reports of like how Chevron and these oil companies, they knew the climate crisis was happening, but in order to save money, they denied and spend a ton of money that they could spend changing their infrastructure. They spend millions and millions and millions fighting climate change. That's just a power move.
Mhm.
They didn't want to concede. They didn't want to concede any profit. So they doomed the planet just so they couldn't concede profit. At what point do the workers develop the same level of class war that the rich are using against us, that the managerial class are using against us? Because despite everything you hear the liberals are saying about Joe Manchin, I'm telling you guys right now, if it's Joe Manchin versus Bernie Sanders on the ballot, even with everything we know now, I promise you, the Bill Maher liberal class will vote for Joe Manchin en masse.
Mm-hmm.
You know how I know that? Because they voted for Joe Biden, who is Joe Manchin. So there's a famous interview. This actually went viral on Twitter. It was going around the clip where Joe Manchin was saying that if it was between Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders, he wouldn't know what he would do. We covered this at a time. That was a long time ago.
No, I remember that.
I remember that.
Thinking it was so ridiculous when they at the time too.
Yeah. So that clip was going around, but guys, that is not. I do not think that's a minority opinion. If these shit libs had to choose between their class, and I call it the black shit libs as well, because they choose their class over race all day,
all day long.
If you think these liberals, they are okay and they are willing to uphold state violence in order to stop your movement. That's why the idea of taking over the Democrat Party is ridiculous.
Well, this is the reason why I just want to insert this. What you're talking about how they treat us and how they don't care about us and how they hate our guts is because you have to look at government, how they look at the country, not government. They are the employer and we are the workers. We call ourselves citizens. We are workers to them. Everybody in the United States, and your value how you are valued in the society depends on your production to that society or to the oligarch, right? This is why old people and young people don't really have that much rights. Like nobody really cares. Once you reach a certain age, they kind of disappear. You know what I'm saying? Disappear from the popular talk. From let's make sure we include these. It's like you're gone. You're just this section of for us because we are workers. This is so anything for us they look at as labor costs. This is the reason why they're not going to expand it. They don't want Medicare for all. Yes, it would be great to have everybody covered, but that's labor costs to them. Again, always look at it as they're the employee and we are the employee. I'm sorry, they're the employer and we're the employee, and that's how they look at it.
I wish I can find a story, man. I reported on it in my old YouTube channel a long time ago. I remember Jamie reported on it a long time ago. But there was a story that came out around the time of Bernie Sanders won Nevada, where there was like that when everyone thought Bernie was going to be the nominee, and and maybe I'll find it, maybe the story. It'll take me forever to find this article, but it was like, yo, if it's between Bernie and Trump, man, we got to make some hard decisions because even though Trump is an existential threat, Bernie will destroy our system as we know it.
Right.
That is what they believe, and it didn't come to that. But dude,
the Lincoln Project people would have voted for Trump. For all those liberals that love the Lincoln Project cheering for them, they would have picked Trump.
Let's say
over Bernie.
Let's talk to the chat for the last like 15-20 minutes.
Yeah.
So we wrap up doing that. So I see a few good comments I want to touch on. I know I didn't read the chat like I'll present a story, so. This chance for to caught up on community. I actually didn't like. I remember Elizabeth Warren came out on defense of Manchin during that campaign, but I didn't actually know she endorsed him. Like the people who advocate for Elizabeth Warren, they're like the Ben Dixons. Like people forget Ben Dixon was a big Elizabeth Warren fan.
I never knew
these
that.
people are trying their best to pretend that didn't happen. Like people, I remember. God, I talked about it so many times. I went to war. Like people hated me because I remember when the Bernie Elizabeth Warren alliance fraud was going on.
Yeah,
and I was when I was a part of the Bernie campaign, and there were people in the Bernie campaign that was advocating. They were saying, "Oh, we got to form an alliance with Elizabeth Warren people." They're like, Elizabeth Warren people. They are our allies. They're our friends. Elizabeth Warren.
I remember that.
And I would criticize Warren. They were like, "How dare you, Nick? She's our best ally."
Yeah, the best ally that never endorsed Bernie.
Yep, so. And she did the same thing twice. She didn't endorse Bernie in 2016 because Hillary Clinton did a smart move. She went and said, "Yo, if you stay out of this race, I might pick you as vice president." And then she was like, she fell for it like a dumbass, and she didn't say anything in that election. And then she picked Tim Kaine, a fucking fracker who's anti-abortion, by the way. Anti-abortion, it was a fracker. And then she did the same thing. So
yeah, they don't talk about that. How Hillary Clinton did. They don't talk about that though.
Tim Kaine is a Republican guy. Like, he was awful. But also in 2020, despite that mistake, and one of the reasons why I was dragging Warren from day one. When has Elizabeth Warren ever laid a glove on Joe Biden in the campaign? She didn't ever. Elizabeth Warren from day one, and you guys can see my old tweets. I don't feel like pointing it up. I don't feel like bragging again. From my old tweets, I literally was saying that Warren. I was like, bro, Warren is not criticizing Biden, even though Biden was one of her biggest political opponents when she first started. She made the Consumer Protection Financial Protection Bureau, and she used to feud with Joe Biden. That's how she got her original progressive accolades. So despite her original feud with Joe Biden during the Obama years, she did not lay a glove on him. And you notice, who did she go after? She went after two people aggressively. She went after Bernie Sanders, who was the biggest competition of Biden. But think about this. Who else did Elizabeth Warren went after? She went after Michael Bloomberg. Why did Elizabeth Warren go after Michael Bloomberg? Because Michael Bloomberg at that time was running and cutting into Joe Biden's support. I was telling people this stuff, and Elizabeth Warren fans, the Emma Villains, they love Elizabeth. They're like, bro, this motherfucker, he's a far left. We have this alliance. She's gonna come through, and I'm literally like, bro, she's in the tank for Joe Biden because she never criticized him. And the second that Bloomberg jumped in the rating, that when they had that debate, remember that when she destroyed him? Yeah. I was like, bro, Elizabeth Warren fucking him up. Like, she fucked Bloomberg up in that debate. But she did that to help Biden. Because if you look at the second place, Bloomberg was cutting to Biden support, not Bernie. Bloomberg support is not fucking Bernie, bros.
No, so, they don't have overlapping voters.
Anyway, I went long on that question. Anything you want to add, CJ? I want to get to some more chat.
No. Let's go to the next.
My point is, she was always a fraud. Like, she was always a fraud. I see this one as well, since we was talking about them. TYT Majority Report with Sam Cedar and Emma Vigeland, the Mickey Kantz, they're going to cry when they see this video because my AOC segment. And I'm telling you, the segment I did on AOC regarding CIA, that is, what I just did is blasphemy. I will not be surprised if this will get clipped. You're going to see.
You know what? I'm glad you said that again, because I wanted to say this earlier when you brought it up. The reason people like this and David Dole and the Emma, I'm sorry, I don't want to say her last name wrong, but the Emma Villains, the Sam Cedars, the reason they decry or they cry so much about attacking these people is because if you're saying I'm a leftist, right? I'm a leftist, and then you plant your flag on a politician and say this politician is a leftist like me and I'm going to support them, us attacking that is attacking them. So it's like they're projecting that attack on themselves, because anything you're saying about AOC, Nick, you're saying about them. That's how they take it. You're saying about them because they're supporting her.
That is exactly what it is.
Yes.
That is literally perfect. Because I also had another psychological breakdown of the way it is. Because I was trying to explain to you guys the class divide on the left, right? There are a lot of people who see themselves as boutique left managers, right? Mm-hmm. These are the people who want to run for Congress. These are the people who want to be the next Ryan Graham, right? They want to be on the Peacock network like Sam Cedar is. They want to be part of the TYT network like Kyle Clancy used to be. Mike is on, David. They want to be part of the professional boutique left. So when we criticize AOC, they don't want that criticism coming down on their line when they eventually run for Congress, when they become that the professional. So we got to shut up and fall in line. We got to know our place. That's literally their message. The message of just the Democrats is shut up and fall in line. There's another
and this is the reason why I think we're going to get, in particular, our network backlash the more we grow, because
why you guys think Hassan
all the leftist viewpoints come from a white viewpoint. So they have this group coming in saying, wait a minute, you're criticizing the people that all these white leftists are saying is great. So what are your guys' problem?
Why?
Problem is, go ahead.
Why do you guys? And I'm asking you this, CJ, too, so you can chime in. Why do you guys think Hassan and David Doe and these people went out to the General Strike Summit? Ask you guys that question. Literally, just poor black people having a discussion about labor.
Right.
The reason why Hassan is the biggest Twitch streamer, one of the biggest Twitch streamers in the world, period. And he did a reaction video to us.
Who does that?
What?
Let me react to a video of people trying to help people. Even if I disagree with their tactics, they're trying to help people. And if you watch that video, Nick, there's no way you can watch the General Strike Summit and think that we are some sort of drifters or whatever the word is. There's no way you can watch that.
And that's the conclusion I come. These people are here to divide and attack the real left because they gotta attack our credibility. They gotta attack activists. They want people to be extremely skeptical of activists, but they want you to trust the politicians at the same time. So the reason why they attacked the our General Strike Summit, the reason why they attacked the Medicare Fraud March is because we did not go through the proper channels from the CIA handbook. Now, once again, I'm not saying they're CIA because I think making accusations like without proof that people are CIA, I think that's just unnecessarily divisive, and that makes people really defensive. I don't think that's actually productive. What I do is tell you guys what the CIA tactics are. So I'm like, I want you to make your own conclusion. If you see someone that's following the CIA tactics to a T, I'm not saying they're CIA. My point is, what does that say about your politics? If your politics, you naturally inclined,
right?
All the tactics,
right? So yeah, so I get what you're saying. You're not necessarily saying they're CIA. You're just saying your politics align with the CIA tactics here.
Like, bro,
that's all you're saying.
My point is, the best case scenario I have for you is that they don't even have to recruit you. Like,
right?
You do it on your own.
Right.
Like that's best. I'm not going as far as like some people will straight up say all these motherfuckers are CIA. I'm not gonna fight them, but I would say that I think it's best to highlight what they do. So then the people who like me, and I've seen people reach out and told me this before, people who like me and like some of the people I talk about, because I talk about the tactics instead of like just them, they will see them do that. Like I remember the first time I reported on the CIA thing, I had people who was like, oh my God, everything makes sense now. The entire force to vote thing makes sense now. Their opposition to making fraud. Like I had so many people when I first tweeted out, it went viral, and then people were like, "Bro, everything that I seen, like I was an activist, I support all this stuff," and they like criticized me. Like people were like, "I did not know this stuff." This should be standard knowledge. If you're a leftist in America, with all our movements being hijacked by the CIA, every leftist should know this stuff. Everybody, like everyone should know that list. On top, like so you see it. Oh, red flags. He's doing number 7.
Yes.
He's telling us go to channel. He's doing number 4. He keep bringing up unnecessary issues. Number 2, he keep trying to bring up old things in meetings that we already decided upon to slow down progress, right? Like these are kind of things that everyone on leftist should know. There was a comment, and the one more thing I want to say, I actually lost the comment, but the comment said that Biden can provide health care to everyone. I'm trying to find it right now. I actually lost it, but he said Biden can provide everyone they can. So everyone with health care. Sorry. Everyone with healthcare with executive authority because we're in an emergency pandemic. He can declare national emergency and expand Medicare to everyone. And I want you guys to understand that was the ask of the Medicare Fraud March. I watched the opposing viewpoints to see what they were saying. I'm curious that like that. I'm like, you ever come out against the Medicare Fraud March? What is your argument? There were in the argument that came from like the majority report people. Because Hassan, he made a video bashing the Medicare Fraud marches as well. Because the reason why they did it is because Jimmy Dore gave a speech. He gave a speech at the California event. So anything that is tied to Jimmy Dore, they must attack. Jimmy Dore was part of our Joe Strike Summit, so they attacked that, right? They don't care about anything other than attacking their political rivals. But what they said when I was like, all right, what's your critique? They said, you guys are just marching for healthcare, but you guys have no end game. You guys are just doing it. It's performative. You guys understand the point of the fucking march was to raise awareness. The fact that Biden can use his executive authority to get everyone. That was the point of the march. They didn't even know that. And by the way, do you guys remember when Cori Bush was trying to get credit because she showed up at the Medicare Fraud March? And they were like, oh yeah, Cori Bush showed up. Then the people at the Medicare Fraud March, and this was reported by Franco, they asked Cori Bush, do you support our ask? Corey Bush, we are demanding that Joe Biden use his executive authority to expand Medicaid. Do you think Biden should do that? We should immediately call him and do that, right? She didn't support it. She said no. She's like, no, we should go through the process. We shouldn't be demanding him to do that stuff, right? So Corey Bush didn't even support the demand. So she just showed up for the march for ops, for photo ops, I mean, right? So as people who is part of these movements, and this is the only reason I bring these people up, because these people with these giant platforms came out against us because we didn't go through the proper channels. They wasn't invited. I'm not gonna invite some fucking millionaire. Why invite Hassan there? Right? Well, it didn't make sense. Why would I invite these people like TYT? They take contracts from fucking real estate moguls, right? So I'm not interested. So
because they're the gatekeepers of liberal media discourse. They are the gatekeepers of liberal media discourse. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, sorry, Steve. I'll pass it right back to you. But they saw people who wasn't going through the proper channels. The boutique left saw us, poor activists. They were like, all right, we're gonna have our own summit. We're gonna have our own march. They didn't like that. And that's the class divide. That's the class divide what we bring up. It's all about protecting the professional managerial class, right? But let's get some more comments. Like these comments always bring a lot of discussion. I'm not probably a little behind. You see anything you want to talk about? We probably wrap up in like 10 minutes.
No. We can.
Here's another super chat here.
Oh, there goes one right there.
Thank you for super chat. Labor costs. Exactly. I'm sure the Alex is probably responding to my rant about how they laugh about stealing our labor value. That's pretty much what they do.
Professional left? No, you call them the boutique left.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever tweeted that out before. I don't think I've ever tweeted the word boutique left out though.
Yeah, I remember. I remember Kyle Kalinske sent out a tweet. He was criticizing the professional boutique left, and I was like, "Oh shit!" So people are actually starting to use the terminology now. That's how I know our shit is getting out there. So like I didn't see not many people say this shit, and then I start saying it, and then I said to Jimmy, and then Jimmy started saying it, and then all of a sudden I seen everyone starts saying boutique left now. But then it's funny because Kyle like tweeted his frustration at the professional boutique left, and then we were like, "Bro, you think you're not part of that?"
What? I heard you mention earlier too that he got kicked off of TYT, or you said he's not part of TYT no more, or something. Did you say that about Kyle?
I think Jane don't fuck with him no more. But he's part of the Hill, like not the Hill, but the Rising.
Yeah, that whole crew. Yeah. Part of that.
Nothing against them. Like,
yeah, I have nothing against them. I think I look at it like this: you got people, we have overlapping views. Everybody's not the same. You know, compared to some people, we're more far left. Compared to other people, we're not as far left. And you know what I mean? So we can talk, you know, we can bring up people at breaking points and say, hey, I agree with this. I agree with that. And here goes something else I don't agree with. That's fine. Like, I want to get to a point where people can have conversations, disagreements, and then say, hey, I agree with that person on this. Hey, I disagree with that person on that. But Nick, I don't see many other comments to put up. We can wrap up early unless you got something else going on.
No, we got International Leftist Coalition tomorrow. Should be good segment Tuesday nights. So check that out. CJ got a lot of good programs on Wednesdays.
Tomorrow, actually, I got a special thing in the morning. I'm gonna be doing the Watts thing in the morning, so I'm gonna broadcast it, Nick, from Watts.
Oh, bet.
So it's Watts Community Core. You can look them up on Instagram, or you can Google them. So it's a charity, not a charity. It's a nonprofit, black-owned, black-ran nonprofit. Of course, it had to be. That's literally in the Jordan Down projects. They gave them an office because they helped so much down there. So I found out my sister's friend, and I already knew her. I didn't even know she had this organization. So going down there, she already has a giveaway. So people are coming to her event in the projects. She's giving away clothes and food and stuff like that. And I'm going to be there also handing out the gift card. So I'm going to do that. Man, I got to get up early, Nick.
Yeah.
9 a.m. my time. It's 12 your time, but I mean 12 in the East Coast. That's 11 your time. But I got to be there at 9, so I got to get up at 8 and make my way over there to do that. So that's tomorrow in the morning. I'll go live for that.
Cool. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I'm gonna try and get some guests. I took it after the General Strike Summit. I was like, I'm gonna take a break on some guests for a little bit. I don't do my own show, but I'm gonna try and bring some guests. My Saturday show, I like that stream as more of a chill, relaxed stream where I just share stories and shit. Maybe like that'd be like I can bring back like my old conversation series. Like that's why like we got a lot of good content. That's what I'm trying to say.
And some new stuff coming up.
We
People
got
don't know. Like
content.
we're planning some new shows coming up. That's in the work. A bunch of new shows. In the work.
So we got my new Saturday show. We got a lot of new things planned. Like I'm still planning the International Leftist Summit. I'm aiming for sometime maybe February in March. I want to give people time. I want to get Dr. Cornel West on this one too because I was about to get him on Jones Strike something, but he was like, "Damn man, I'm booked, man. I would," but he was booked that weekend. So I'm like, he's gonna be the first motherfucker I'll reach out to. Like I'm gonna reach out to Dr. Cornel West. I'm gonna book that. I'm gonna book him for a weekend, and then I'm like, all right, this weekend.
Then do it around that weekend. Then do it around that. Tell him like, hey, you can't change it because I'm booking it around you.
Yeah, for real. Because I just saw Cornel West. He was just doing a panel on Palestinians because there's they like Israel bombing Gaza. Like this shit is never ended. Like the Palestinian struggle never ends. So like imagine Dr. Cornel West on the International Leftist panel. Like there's so many people that I literally got like a list. Like there are good people. That
it's gonna be Nick. We're gonna fill that up in like a day. We'll fill that up in like a day.
And also, like we are not shifting from the topic. I know we were talking about this earlier, CJ, because I know you still want to promote General Strike. We still all for that. Like I'm thinking about we can have international leftist panels that's about creating an international movement,
right?
So like we can have like when I'm talking about the International Leftist Summit, I want people, and I already been talking to a few people. Like I want people who actually was victims of U.S. war crimes. Like I know a guy who he literally first generation Iraqi citizen who was a victim of George W. Bush's Iraq War. I know people who are victims of Joe Biden's immigration policy in Haiti. Josana introduced me to a bunch of Brazilian indigenous activists who are victims of the Bolsonaro government that the United States support. Like this, when I'm talking about International Leftist Coalition, something I'm talking about bringing like for real internationally. Bring them here. Let's talk about how we challenge the United States empire. Because I said on one of our international leftist panels, and I truly do believe it, we're not stopping capitalism. We're not stopping the U.S. empire with just the American movement. And if you think that you're going to stop the U.S. empire and the global neoliberal elite, which is NATO, which the UK just teamed up with the United States to extradite Julian Assange. They're all in it. It's the UK, the US, Saudi Arabia, Israel. It's a giant coalition of neoliberals. So how do you think you're going to beat that with a coalition only from California to New York?
Right.
That doesn't make sense, guys. So if we're going to have a movement, we got to start reaching out to our leftists in Central America, in the global South. And that I really try to get better at that. Like, luckily I met Kareem Batesh. She's going to hit me some people up. Like,
oh yeah, I think we'll do good. You have a great connection. You've built a great following with the International Leftist Coalition. I do have a question. You've been doing these coalitions for a while. Do people internationally use the word leftist in words like progressives, or they don't even really? You know what I mean? Like, does it?
I've been paying. We're gonna do a segment very soon. I'm trying to reach out to Shahid to get him to talk about Chile, because Chile just elected a socialist leader. Do you guys understand what's going on? Neoliberalism is being rejected on a massive scale in the global South. Right? In the global South in Central America, they are electing socialists after socialists after socialists. So, and what they're doing, and this is the exact opposite. Remember what we said about AOC? We wrap up very soon. I want to make this point. Because I told you guys, AOC was an ineffective politician straight up, no matter how you feel about her. But with the people in the global South, they're not teaming up with liberals to push authoritarian measures, right? They're not engaging in liberal war bullshit. Like they're not doing it. It's if you look at the people in global South, they're reaching out to people. Like a lot of these people are really religious. Like they're reaching out to social conservatives, like people they disagree with on social issues, but they agree on workers' rights. But in America, if you do that, they call you Red, Brown, Alliance. You guys understand why I call it the U.S. progressive left? The U.S. progressive left is a joke compared to the global South, compared to the communists in Asia.
They're probably waiting on us. They're probably like, man, the enemy is over there on that continent. We can't get the people over there to wake up. They're probably thinking that way. We can't get these people to wake up over there.
Why do you guys think I invited Josana on Revolutionary Blackout? Because I used to have this conversation with her. She's from Brazil. Like she organized with indigenous activists. Like Josana is the real deal. Like she's been in this game for a long time. When she went to America and she saw the left in America, she's like, this is a fucking joke. Like and when you talk to global South socialists, when they talk about the United States left and what we do, the idea of voting for someone like Joe Biden, it blows their mind. Like, it blows their fucking mind.
Yeah, it'll be like them voting for Bolsonaro. It'll be like them
like,
voting for it. It's like what?
Like the whole like Jimmy Jordan derangement syndrome shit, the nonstop culture war shit that the left engage in. They view that as clownery. And once again, this is stuff I'm recently learning, guys. I'm just now talking to these people. Like I'm talking, like I got close to Josana. I talked to a lot of these people in the global South, and then Indigenous Brazilians, all these people that I met that are overseas, and they're like, "Bro, this is embarrassing over here." Like,
yeah, no, they think we're politically stupid.
Anyway, I know
like,
that's my take on that.
Yeah,
and that's our plan. I hope that was a good promo. I want to give you guys hype because I'm planning because I want to. Like, once again, it's kind of
we need solidarity with the That's what Americans don't get. We need to, like we were saying, we need international solidarity.
Yeah. It's really gonna be. I don't have a date for you guys, but it's really gonna be based on Chris Hedges and Dr. Cornel West. Like, because I'm gonna try and reach out to them. I couldn't get Chris Hedges for the Jones Strike because he got it's.
Yeah, you gotta let him weigh in.
It's like when I booked them, I'm gonna today. I'm like, all right, guys, I got Cornel West for February, the second weekend of February. This is with the international legends. Anyway, that's the plan. I hope you guys are hyped about that. CJ, anything else you want to announce? Any last thing you want to say?
No, that's it. I got to take off, so let's go ahead and end it here. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for those that watch on Rockfin. Thank you for anybody that donated. Again, if you want to support us directly, you can see on the scrolling bottom there. And that's all I got, Nick. So until next Monday, Nick and I will be on tomorrow.
Take care, guys.